Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by my good friend and son, boxing reporter Wally Downes Jr. Wally, how are you?
Very well, Daniel. All the better for seeing you.
I get out a lot, mate. I get out a lot. Enjoying your coffee there. Is it coffee? Black coffee?
Gin.
Gin, okay, brilliant. That's what we want. Need it to get through the next couple of hours. I'm sure it won't be bad at all. We're here for Harlem Eubank's big fight, returning to his hometown Brighton. The first show here, I believe, since Chris Eubank Sr.'s pomp. He's taking on Timo Schwarzkopf. What do you make of the fight and more so the event coming back to this area?
I love any time that there's a show going anywhere that I haven't been before, or certainly hasn't had much attention. I love doing the Chris Smith shows, starting back at the BIC, couple there, ramming 3,000 people in, full from 6 o'clock in the evening. So the fact that they're coming to do it here, I'm really excited about. In the same way I loved that Poland trip for Dubois. Even excited to go and do Sheffield next week. You know, it's taking it to cities where they don't get a lot of big boxing is important. You know, we want these fans to. We want these fighters to have fans. We want successful shows. Yeah, really happy it's happening. Clever by Wasserman again to put it on a Friday night and not have clashes like we did have last Saturday, because that does nothing but harm, you know, the boxers who are trying to sell tickets. So really excited for the event. Yeah, 1991 Chris Eubank Sr., which Harlem's, you know, really aware of. And yeah, a really good fight. Listen, a couple of years ago I was down interviewing Harlem when he was really not, you know, he wasn't a big name in the sport at all, certainly, you know, among casual fans. We did an Adam Azim media day the other day where Adam Azim, this red hot boy who was sparring in the Dale at 6, is talking about fighting Harlem Eubank. Dalton Smith is being linked. But those two lads are childhood boxers, whereas Harlem started at 18, you know, and the way he's turned it around is really, really impressive. And I think the way he handles himself and conducts himself, he'll get more and more fans. Having him on terrestrial telly is great. And this is a good step up. I don't think this lad's ever been stopped, and he's been in some proper operators. So I will be coming down for the fight for sure. Yeah, and it's another good event to get behind as much as we can.
You mentioned the two shows clashing there. I interviewed Eddie Hearn last week, and I put it to him that with the amount of TV promoters in this country at the moment, the quality is inevitably going to be diluted because everyone's competing for the same talent and to boost their own fighters. Looking at the weekend, for me, I didn't particularly enjoy any of the fights on either of the two UK shows. I flicked between the two. There were some good performances, but not a lot of 50-50 or competitive fights, in my view. What did you make of it?
It is tough. I guess you've been around longer than me. I think the board used to block clashes. I think that's right.
A certain number of days.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, everyone needs to get paid, and if you block clashes, maybe you don't get paid as easy or as often. So it is difficult. The Canelo show probably, you know, was never going to grab a huge UK audience, but they wouldn't have wanted to clash with that. You've got the Ryder Cup, where, you know, like my newspaper never showed a lot of interest in the build-up because they're wrestling with Ryder Cup. I think there was 8 Premier League games on Saturday, so I'm ringing up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, do you want previews with Eddie Scotney, Caroline Dubois, Jordan Thompson, and it's hard. You know, there's a lot of sport going on. So yeah, look, clashes are always going to make everyone suffer. I thought Caroline's performance was excellent, good step up, showing power. You know, sadly with Caroline, there aren't many journeywomen around. Like we've had this chat before. You know, that girl was incredibly tough, and she threw back. So that for me was really impressive with Caroline. But yeah, it is tough. I think as long as they announce it as a breakthrough show, a next-gen show, you know, they're not trying to con anyone. You do get sent the list, so fans don't have to go. I thought Ellie Scotney was, you know, it was great to see Ellie Scotney defend her title within 3 months of winning it, you know, really showing how you should behave as a world champion. So I always try never to criticise a show before it happens, because, again, God forbid anyone ever reads anything I write, but, you know, imagine someone didn't buy a ticket because I said this is a crap card coming up. You know, that's going to take away from the fighters and stuff. So I don't really see too much point in looking back and criticising it. There were some good performances, yeah, but they weren't selling it as a huge box office pay-per-view. There were 2 solid enough cards for trade, you know, trade fans like you and me, really, I guess.
I guess my thinking is that combine the two shows, don't have a clash, and you'd get a really, really good show. Yeah,
I'm sure Eddie and Ben should sit down, have a cup of tea, get Frank round, go for lunch. Yeah, maybe just do 3 shows, do them all together. Sounds easy enough.
I guess the big news last week, aside from the fights that took place, and you mentioned Canelo there, was the confirmation, in inverted commas at least, of Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk, first heavyweight undisputed fight in the four-belt era. How sceptical are you of it happening on a scale of 1 to 10?
From a business perspective, not really sceptical now, because I think it's at least a 2-fight deal with Fury and the Saudis, because Ngannou is a gimme, to break into the area. So, and then Usyk will be the second fight, potentially a rematch or a next fight. So, I think from a business sense, I'm confident of it happening. I'm sure he comes through Ngannou, no problem. So, yeah, I've got to be honest. And now, usually I'm sceptical of anything that looks too good to be true, but AJ and Wilder has collapsed. That's not happening. I'm baffled as to what those two fellas might do next. So, Fury and Usyk are out there on their own. There isn't really anyone there to challenge them, to be honest. So, yeah, I think it's all wrapped up. Fury and Usyk are both tight with the Saudis. So yeah, I'm not too terrified. I'm looking forward to 2 long weeks in Saudi Arabia as always. Can't wait to get out there.
There's been some near misses in the past. Negotiations have taken place on a number of occasions. What do you think has changed this time to enable it to get over the line?
More money, and I guess Skills Challenge came and went. Eddie and Skills Challenge, Amir Abdullah making huge promises. That they vanished overnight almost. And a new firm have come in. Perhaps they saw the success of AJ Ruiz and AJ and Usyk and thought, right, we'll come in and knock Skills Challenge out. This new firm seems to be an even bigger deal. I think they're the shirt sponsors of Newcastle, so I believe so anyway. I think it might be something to do with that. And yeah, again, they've seen how we, I know British boxing fans sit around going, "Oh, we never make the big fights," but if the money's endless, it's not that hard. You've only got to get 2 fellas to agree to it, and then to get in the ring and have a fight. To host a fight isn't a difficult thing; it's to make money out of a fight. That's and split the money. But if the money's endless and these boys have got it, then I'm sure they'll be okay and get it on. So yeah, hopefully it all goes through. Tyson doesn't suffer any major cut against Ngannou, and yeah, we get to spend Christmas in Riyadh.
Christmas in Riyadh sounds like an old movie, doesn't it? Down to brass tacks. Who wins the undisputed fight and how?
Jesus, Dan. If I'm Tyson Fury, I just try to make it a dull, miserable fight that he wins. Coming at 19 stone, 3 stone heavier, 5-6 inches taller, jab and hold, sort of Klitschko him. If that can be done, I mean, me saying that as if Usyk's going to stand there and let it happen, Dan. But that, I don't think you're going to get the Fury that had shootouts with Wilder. And Fury's not going to be able to stand and be pinged around the ring in the way that Usyk did to AJ and Daniel Dubois. So, yeah, that is how, just from a long shot perspective, I would see that a good big un beats a good little un. We're talking about a brilliant big un and a brilliant little un. So I still just think that if Tyson wants to just win at all costs, then that is how he can do it.
Do you think we'll see many British interest on the undercard?
Do you mean fans?
No, I mean, well, I hope a lot of fans go over. As you said, Christmas in Riyadh is wonderful, but no, any British fighters on the undercard, do you think?
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, the Ngannou one's got bundles, really, isn't it? So, yeah, there's not an American in the headliner, so there's no need for American fighters on there particularly. The good thing about having more fights in the Middle East for us boxing fans who are at home watching it on telly is that the time difference, we're not up till 4 and 5 in the morning, so you would want British fans on there. It's also a Queensbury or Frank Warren co-promotion, so he'll have fighters that want to get on there. I get the impression that Saudis love heavyweight boxing more than anything else. Well, Frank's got plenty of heavyweights. There are plenty of good British heavyweights around. So, yeah, if you look at the Ngannou one, undercard is a good boxing undercard. So, I would imagine we will see something pretty similar.
Great stuff. Really appreciate the time, Wally, as always.